meaning sourpuss. Mrs. Gallagher never had a good word to say for anybody. She had a genius for sniffing out the vulnerable points in anyone's character and going in for the kill. In the far north of Scotland, in winter, there are only a few hours of daylight. Hamish glanced at his watch. 3 o'clock and black as hell already, he muttered. The wind cut like a knife as he climbed into the police Land Rover. As he held the wheel tightly against the buffeting of the wind and drove along the curving road out of the village, he realised that he had never questioned Mrs. Gallagher's bitterness. It had simply been one of those unpleasant facts of his existence since he had started policing in Loch Dhu. At last, he bumped up the rutted track leading to the low croft house where Mrs. Gallagher lived. Bending his head against the ferocity of the wind, he rapped at the door. He waited as he heard her fumbling with locks and bolts. What was she afraid of? Most crofters didn't bother locking their doors. Then he saw the gleam of an eye through the door, which she opened on a chain. She had always had all those locks. How on earth could anyone manage to get in and burgle her? "Police," he said. The chain dropped, and the door opened wide. "Come, Ben," she said curtly. He ducked his head and followed her in. As in most croft houses, the kitchen was used as a living room, with the parlour being kept for best. That meant the parlour was usually only used for weddings and funerals. Mrs. Gallagher's kitchen was cosy and cheerful, belying the permanently sour expression on her face. She had a mass of thick, crinkly pepper and salt hair. The skin of her face was like old leather, beaten into a permanent tan by working outdoors. Her eyes were that peculiar light grey, almost silver, you still see in the Highlands. Emotions flitted over the surface of such eyes like cloud shadows on the sea, and yet rarely gave anything away. "What's been taken?" asked Hamish. "Sit down and stop looming over me," she snapped. Hamish obediently sat down. "My cat, Smokey's been stolen." Hamish had started to tug out his notebook, then left it alone. "How long's the cat been gone?" 24 hours. "Look here, Mrs. Gallagher, it's probably strayed, gone wild or been killed by the fox." Like the devil, it was always the fox in the Highlands of Scotland, where crofters had no sentimentality about an animal they damned as the worst piece of vermin in the countryside. "Havers," said Mrs. Gallagher. "If I say it is stolen, then it is stolen, and it is your duty to get it back." "I'll have a look around for it," said Hamish, struggling to rise out of the low chair on which he was sitting. "Is there any sign of a break-in? Any doors, locks, or windows been tampered with?" "Not a sign, but they could be too cunning for the likes of you. I want you to get a Socko team out here," said Mrs. Gallagher. Hamish, who watched police soaps as well, knew she meant a scene of crime operatives team. "Smokey was here with me. He didn't go out." "Did you go out yourself?" "Yes, I went to feed the sheep." "And wouldn't Smokey nip out after you?" "No, Smokey never goes out until dinner time." Hamish interpreted dinner time to mean midday. In most houses in and around Loch Dhu, dinner was still in the middle of the day, and high tea, that is, one course followed by bread and scones and cakes and washed down with tea, in the early evening. "I cannot order a forensic team frae Strathbane for a missing cat," said Hamish. "Anyway, they just wouldn't come." "Your trouble," said Mrs. Gallagher, "is that you are lazy. That is why you are still unmarried. You are too damn lazy to get off your scrawny backside even to court a lassie." Hamish stood up and looked down at her. "I will look around outside for your cat and post a notice at the police station," he said evenly. "That is all I can do." His Highland accent became more sibilant when he was angry or distressed. "You have not even checked the doors or windows to see where they might have got in," shouted Mrs. Gallagher. "I'll report you." Do that.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.